And so I hope that we'll be able to launch this. The other thing that I think is so important, and I've got an economic security plan that I hope you'll look at. You can go to my website, elizabethdole.org, and see the different things that we're doing. But I want to talk about roads and bridges just real quickly, and then urge you to send out to your email list the information you get off my website to everybody you can. Roads and bridges. North Carolina used to be the best in the country. Now we are no more. The bridge in my home area, Lexington, right there at the Yadkin River, you turn that curve and you could be behind a huge stack of trucks, and there's no shoulders to go off on. So it's rated as a 53. That's the rating that the Minnesota bridge had when it fell. But there's one in the east, Bonner Bridge, that's at a 2. And so I've got legislation right now that would provide, if we can hook it on to something, a vehicle in this lame duck session, it would provide a $50 billion bond bill to enable us to go forward right now with repairing roads and bridges. And we desperately need it here in North Carolina. We were able in the last highway bill to get through a 78% increase in transit for buses, for light rail, a 31% increase for the highways, and for every dollar that we send to Washington for the Highway Trust Fund, we got it from 90.5 to 92% return on the dollar. I want to see that pushed even further in this next highway bill, which is coming up next year. So those are some of the many issues we're dealing with. But again, I just want to thank you all for being out here, helping me to get the message out. Pull out the stops. Work hard. I say work hard, pray hard, God willing. And I want to share one little story with you from my days with President Reagan. I had 7 years by his side, 2 years in his White House, and 5 years as his Secretary of Transportation. And one day I asked him, we were just waiting for him to give a speech, and we were alone. And I said, Mr. President, how do you do it? You're so kind, and you're so thoughtful of everybody, and you never say anything that's fretful or frantic or any of that. You're just so gracious, and you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders. How do you do it? And he loved to kind of reminisce, so he sat back in his chair and he said, well, Elizabeth, he said, when I was governor of California, it seemed like every day yet another disaster would be placed on my desk. And I had the urge to hand it to somebody behind me to help me. And he said, one day I realized I was looking in the wrong direction. I looked up instead of back. And he said, I'm still looking up. And I couldn't go another day. Yeah. He said, I couldn't go another day in this office if I didn't know I could ask God's help and it would be given. And I certainly agree with that 100%. I used to ask people when I was president of the Red Cross for their time, their money, and their blood. Now, folks, I'm not going to ask for your blood today, okay? But I am going to ask for your time. I hope any funds that you can give, obviously you're desperately needed when somebody's sending $10 million in against you. We can sure use the funds. Though we're doing well, I'm proud that we raised more than any other candidate this last quarter. We raised almost $3.2 million in a quarter. And that's more than anybody across America. So we're working hard at it, but it takes an enormous amount of funds. The third thing I want to ask for is your prayers. Give me that undergirding and prayer network, which really helped you to have that wisdom and courage and strength to fight the fight, because I'll tell you, they're trying to get in the Senate to 60 votes. And there are 23 of us running and 12 on the other side. If they get to 60 votes, yeah, that makes it a filibuster-proof Senate. That means that you can't stop anything. So your taxes will be increased. You will have judges making law from the bench. I mean, everything that is what is against our values and what we believe in, it's going to start happening. Now, my opponent, when we talk about taxes, she's raised taxes 30 times. That's $5 billion of taxes on you all. Since I've been in the Senate, I've supported a 25% decrease in your taxes. So there are a lot of clear as well. And we'll be glad to provide information there. She's kind of waffled on a lot of issues and not been willing to say what she thinks. Like, what do you think about Iraq? I'm in the state senate, and Iraq is not a state issue. Pardon me. I think we all need to be concerned. And so, you know, we'll fight the fight, but with you as our partners, and God willing, it's going to be a great victory. Thank you so very much for being here.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. We have here, and I'm going to ask Mrs. Setzer to come out. While they're shaking, our candidate for the 50th district is Susan Pons. You all know Susan. She didn't get introduced because she wasn't here, but she's here now. I just wanted to recognize her at the tail end of this.
Yes, the reason I wasn't here, I was in Robbinsville and Murphy already this morning, and now we're heading over to Haywood. But what an honor it is to be here with Senator Dole. You know, for years we heard the opposing side say, we want women, we want women. And then we get someone like a Sarah Palin and Elizabeth Dole and many fine women running here in North Carolina. And all of a sudden, we're not the kind of women they want. So, I just love it that the conservative, Republican, Christian, God-fearing women are having a voice. And Senator Dole, you are in our prayers, and so is Sarah Palin. And I ask you for your prayers as well. And I just want to close by saying one thing. Anthony Scalia, our Supreme Court Justice, said day by day, case by case, I watched this court design a constitution for a nation I no longer recognize. This election will decide whether we have a nation we continue to recognize or not. So, God bless us, God bless America, and God help us November 4th.
Thank you, Susan. This young lady here is 94, 91. But when you get to be 80, I look forward to my next birthday. Nevertheless, she is going to make a presentation. Again, this gift was brought to us by Gary Dills. Gary, we thank you very much for that. And Barbara Setzer, would you go ahead and make the presentation to Senator Dole?
I want to present this book to you. It's Then and Now, 150-year pictorial of Franklin, North Carolina.
I will cherish this. And this is the second. Today is her 70th anniversary. Isn't that
wonderful? Okay, now we're going to walk through this gratitude minutes. We're running a little late. Want to get an opportunity for you to